Hello everybody, welcome to our first installment of our flipped classroom for the Art and Science of Teaching, our new Marzano causal evaluation system. So again, the idea is you watch the video so that when we come to the discussion this Wednesday during grade levels, we can really talk about what it looks like instead of going over what is it we're supposed to know. So this is a way for us to get to more of the application when we get our time with you this Wednesday. So just a couple of reviews. We are doing evaluations differently this year. Some of the benefits of the Marzano plan you can see here. Really, it's just going to provide a lot more explicit feedback. It's going to be more ongoing feedback, and it's really going to honor the complexity of teaching. So it's really all in the title, the art and science. Remember, there's the science that tells you what effective strategies are out there and their gains on student achievement. But then there's the art. You have to know when to use these strategies and which ones are appropriate for your students and which ones fit best in your classroom. So this is our extension of our learning, and we're going to talk about more design questions and elements today. One of the things I like about the model is this idea of common language. You'll hear us say that a lot this year. We're doing so many things in teaching since it is so complex. We call some of the same things by different names. This is going to allow us as a faculty to build a common language. So when someone says acknowledging rules and procedures, everyone kind of visualizes the same thing and has the same set of tools to use in their classroom. So if you don't have your Marzano TLE map, now would be a great time to go grab it. I'll do a quick review. It's 4 domains. The one that we will spend the most time in is Domain 1, Classroom Strategies and Behaviors. This is the greatest area for student achievement, and really about 68% of the evaluation total all comes from Domain 1. So that's a big part of our focus this year. Now this is the scale. For some of you, you'll remember seeing this. This is the scale that you'll see for all of the elements that we'll cover. Many of you wanted to know, where's the target? Developing is the target. That means you're meeting the objective. Then applying is where you actually start to see student gains from the different strategies. And then the key word that we talk about all the time is monitoring. The difference between developing and applying is that you're monitoring the effectiveness of the strategies that you've used. And then innovating over here means you're really planning for how you're going to meet all learners, and you're monitoring for all students. So here are the design questions. If you pause me and ran and got your map, you'll see all of these questions on there. We started with, and I'll show you, give me just a second here, we started with design question 6, which is what will I do to establish and maintain classroom rules and procedures. So many of you have received feedback on that. I know you're waiting for your logins, but feedback is waiting. You've noticed that we have been in your classrooms a lot more already for this time of the year. So we've been looking specifically at how you set up your physical classroom and how you've kind of established those rules and procedures with your kids. Now we're going to come down here and we're going to do what will I do to recognize adherence and lack of adherence to the classroom rules and procedures. That's design question 7. And then what will I do to establish and maintain effective relationships with students? And this goes right in line with our we believes that we came up with that first day back. So here is an overview of the map in case you couldn't find yours. So we first started spending time in the lesson segment involving routine events. We're now coming over to the far right side of the map, and these are lesson segments enacted on the spot. These are things that you still have planned. You know what you're going to do if students aren't engaged or if a student's not following one of the rules and procedures. So you plan these things and you know when to use them. So as you can see again, there's design question 7 and here's design question 8, and these are our focus for September. So design question 7 is specifically, what will I do to recognize, acknowledge adherence, and lack of adherence to classroom rules and procedures? So with design question 6, you establish these things. Now what are you going to do to recognize the kids who are doing the right things, and then look at what you need to do to rein back in the kids who aren't exactly following the rules and procedures? So I know many of you know this naturally. What this basically says is a combination of positive and negative reinforcements work the best to keep that adherence to classroom rules and procedures. I know that word punishment is kind of harsh. We're not used to that in the Putnam City vocabulary, but that is one of those common vocabulary words that you will see from now on. Also, what strategies don't work? Highly attractive rewards or things that you're doing that are just kind of control devices, those research say do not work. But some of the things that you can think about when you have problems are strategies that we enact on the spot. They have to be predetermined. So it's coming up with a list of things that could happen in your classroom and what will your reaction be. Everyone develops their own plans. You just have to take the time to think about it. Most of you do this very naturally, but especially for those first-year teachers and teachers that are still kind of working on their classroom management, this is key to know what you'll do and when you will do it. Then you see design question 8. What will I do to establish and maintain effective relationships with students? This, again, goes right in line with our we believes. So I like these quotes. I think of myself as kind of the barometer that what I give is what I will get from students. And so it's just something to think about, that we're in a relationship with every single one of our kids. It's just what kind of relationship. Is it going to be positive or negative? And I like that last question. Will it be a relationship that promotes effective learning? So these are some additional common language words that I haven't really used a lot in my own teaching vocabulary. Dominance and cooperation, the critical components of effective student-teacher relationships. So it's showing cooperation and concern and guidance and control. And I think this next slide kind of sums it up a little bit better. Behaviors that communicate an appropriate level of concern and cooperation is knowing something about our kids, showing affection, using student interest in the delivery of our curriculum. So if we know we have a lot of artistic kids, we incorporate that. If we know we have skateboarders and those types of kids, we talk about that. So it's just showing them that we care about what they're interested in, which I know we're doing on a daily basis. And then behaviors that communicate an appropriate level of guidance and control, that emotional objectivity, not engaging in that power struggle with kids, maintaining that cool exterior, and consistent enforcement of our positive and negative consequences. I know we've all been told by students at some time that it's unfair, or you let him do it, not me. So this really focuses on being consistent. So what do we expect to see in classrooms where effective relationships are established and maintained? What does this look like? What are we looking for? So it's making eye contact with kids, having appropriate proximity, attributing ownership of ideas to kids, and encouraging all students to participate. So this month, the month of September, we're getting ready to kick off design questions 7 and 8. So acknowledging adherence to rules or lack of adherence, and then building relationships with kids. These are modules 18 through 21 in your book. You'll talk about design, like the elements of demonstrating with itness. So do you recognize when kids aren't exactly doing what they're supposed to be doing? So some of those we'll talk about specifically in the grade level meetings. So come ready to talk about design questions 7 and 8, and you'll get more information on beginning the online foundation resource course via email from the district. So again, we're trying to honor the complexity of teaching with an expectation that all teachers can increase their expertise incrementally from year to year, which will produce gains in student achievement from year to year. And it goes right in line with our Putnam City High beliefs, that at Putnam City High School we believe in providing best first teaching through planning, building relationships with students, and providing feedback on learning for all students.